The first night after exposure, Michael didn't sleep. Not because he couldn't, because he was listening. The city had always been loud, distant moans, shifting debris, wind between hollow towers. But now the layers separated themselves. He could distinguish echoes by distance, metal contracting from cold, a loose cable swaying 2 rooftops away. His brain wasn't amplifying noise. It was prioritizing. He tested it carefully. He dropped a coin on concrete 5 meters away. The impact felt sharp in his ears, not painful, just defined. Then he focused on a distant alley. There, movement, a hunter. He knew before he saw it. The knowledge arrived half a second before the visual confirmation, like his body recognized a frequency his conscious mind hadn't processed yet. The hunter paused at the intersection below, its head tilted slightly. Michael's pulse slowed instead of rising. That frightened him more than the pursuit ever had. There was no panic response, only calculation. He moved along the rooftop deliberately, not running. The hunter mirrored his shift for below, adjusting vector without frenzy. They were both measuring. The sensation returned, that low, predatory hunger. Not violent, not chaotic, a pull toward motion, toward challenge. Michael clenched his jaw and forced himself to stop. He closed his eyes. He could almost feel the city's residual hum. Faint neural interference left behind by Nirvana's architecture, like static beneath reality. When he opened his eyes again, the hunter had moved on. It hadn't attacked. It had evaluated. Later, speaking to Anna over encrypted channel, he described the timing. I sense them before I see them. Anna was quiet. That's not sensory enhancement alone, she said. It could be pattern synchronization. Explain. If the mutagen interfaces with neural structures similar to the anchor model, you might be experiencing low-level resonance. Resonance with what? With them. Michael didn't respond immediately. That night, he didn't feel hunted. He felt observed. And something else, something deeper, unsettled him more than the hunters themselves. Part of him had wanted the pursuit. The second phase began subtly. Reflexes sharpened, not in bursts, but in continuity. When a piece of concrete gave way beneath his foot during a rooftop transfer, his body corrected before conscious thought formed. Muscles fired in perfect sequence. Balance restored instantly. Too instantly. Later, he realized something worse. Pain thresholds had shifted. A shallow cut across his forearm bled, but the discomfort registered as distant information rather than warning. Anna's words echoed in his memory. Permanent prédateur mode. He avoided contact with settlements now. Not because of hunters, because of himself. The hunger had changed. It no longer felt like pursuit. It felt like tension waiting for release. One evening, a hunter cornered him inside an abandoned train terminal. There was no escape route within immediate reach. Instead of panic, a strange clarity washed over him. He stepped forward. The hunter froze. For 3 full seconds, they stood facing one another under fractured ceiling lights. The hunter's posture shifted, not attack stance, not retreat. Recognition. Michael felt something almost electrical in the air between them. Not visible, not audible. Alignment. Then, abruptly, the hunter turned and withdrew into the darkness. No strike. No chasse. Michael remained standing, breath controlled. He knew what had happened. The mutagen residue wasn't fading. It was integrating, not transforming him into one of them, but blurring a boundary. When he contacted Anna again, his voice was steady. They hesitated. That's not possible unless... Unless what? Unless your neural signature now partially matches theirs. Silence stretched between them. If the corporation detects that shift, Anna continued quietly, you won't just be a compatible subject anymore. What then? You'll be proof of concept. Michael looked out across the city skyline. The hunters weren't just weapons. They were prototypes, and he had just crossed something invisible. A threshold. After the encounter in the terminal, Michael didn't feel relief. He felt change. The city no longer seemed chaotic. Sound had structure. The infected moved in patterns. Even the wind seemed to carry information. That terrified him. His reactions began arriving before thought. Not instinct, something deeper. His body executed movements with flawless efficiency, conserving energy without conscious effort. But something else intensified. Detachment. Emotions hadn't vanished. They had dulled. Fear softened. Compassion felt distant. Irritation became cold and calculated. He caught himself analyzing people the way he analyzed hunters. This was no longer residual exposure. This was a shift. Anna contacted him first. We're detecting increased activity on old corporate channels. They know, not yet, but their scanning protocols have changed. They're no longer searching by movement patterns. Then what? They're scanning for biometric variants. Michael went silent. If his neural signature had truly shifted, then he was visible in a different spectrum. That night, he felt it for the first time. Not sound, not footsteps, pressure, a subtle vibration in the air. He froze on a rooftop and closed his eyes. Somewhere nearby, a hunter stood. But this wasn't pursuit. It was frequency overlap. When he opened his eyes, one of them stood across the street on a neighboring building. Still, watching, and Michael realized he could try something. Not control, not command, but resonance. He focused on the internal hum, the same faint signal he had sensed before. The city's noise dimmed. The hunter took a step back, then another, and disappeared. Michael exhaled sharply, pulse rising. He hadn't controlled it, but he had influenced it.
Over the What if Nirvana was never destroyed? What if it was evolving? And what if that evolution began with him?